He said he didn't change his life to succeed, but to never become himself again. He said it on a podcast, and it didn't sound like motivation. It sounded like a warning. A former Navy SEAL, a Stanford neuroscientist, a quiet studio. Nothing unusual at first until he spoke David Goggins. And the first thing he says is not inspiring. It's disturbing. I wasn't trying to become somebody. A pause. I was trying to make sure I never became that man again. No explanation. No context. Just that sentence hanging in the air. And suddenly, everything feels different. Because when he starts talking about his past, he doesn't describe it like a story. He describes it like a place he escaped from. Not once, but every single day since. A house where fear was normal. A child who couldn't keep up in school. A mind that stuttered before words even formed. ADHD. Silence. Shame. Confusion. Then a shift. Not dramatic. Not cinematic, just time passing. He is 300 pounds. Looking in a mirror. Not seeing a future. Only repetition of everything he hated. Fast food. Night shifts. Lies that sound believable only in your own head. And then, a decision. Not a breakthrough. Not inspiration, just exhaustion. I can't stay here. And that's where most stories end. But his begins. He wakes up the next morning. No motivation. No clarity. Only resistance. He calls it friction. But he doesn't explain it. He shows it. Getting out of bed feels like pushing against something invisible. His body hurts before he moves. His mind argues before he thinks. His past wakes up with him, and he moves anyway. Not once. Every day. Then he says something that breaks everything you thought you understood. He is not chasing success. He is preventing return. Return to who he used to be. And that version of him is still there inside him, waiting. Silence. In the studio. Even Huberman doesn't interrupt. Something shifted. This is no longer discipline. This is containment. Then another detail appears. Unexpected, almost unrelated. He is studying. Medicine, emergency response, paramedic, training. But not for career, not for identity, for repetition, for control, for structure that doesn't collapse. He studies by doing something strange. One page, he rewrites it again and again until it stops being information and becomes reflex. Like he is forcing a new system into a brain that resists change. And suddenly, it doesn't sound like learning. It sounds like pressure, training a mind. Then a contradiction appears. He never says he healed. He never says he overcame. He says something colder. He manages himself every day, like a system that must not fail. Discipline is not motivation. It is prevention. Prevention of collapse. Prevention of return. Prevention of becoming someone he refuses to be again. And that reframes everything because now discipline is not heroic. It is defensive. A structure built around fear, held together by repetition. Then he talks about social media, but not like anyone else. Not as distraction, not as entertainment. He calls it distortion, a place where people show strength while hiding breakdown. And that hiding, he says, is where people slowly fall apart without anyone noticing. Everything gets quieter. Not because the story slows down, but because it sinks deeper. Then comes the final realization. There is no final version of him. No after. No completion. No ending where everything is. Fixed only maintenance, only vigilance, only repetition against regression. And suddenly, the story stops being about him. It becomes about something uncomfortable, universal. If change never ends, what exactly are we supposed to become? No answer comes. Not from him, not from science, not from discipline, just movement. Continuous, unstoppable. Because, for him, stopping is not rest. Stopping is risk. And the silence that follows feels heavier than any explanation. Not resolved, just open.